The Dolor Factor is sponsored by Delia, a romantic paradise. Lime, value every moment. Illuminous, your transformation begins here. Rituals, grounds for enjoyment. And supported by the Cultural Development Foundation, Creativity, Culture, Community.
This week on the Dolor Factor, we aim to inspire you to pay attention to how our lifestyle and mannerisms are changing and how our reluctance to make efforts keep us in the same place. And also, it just keeps us stuck in a rut mode. So how do we begin to aspire? How do we learn to behave in ways that will make people stand up and listen? If we don't know ourselves, or we are reluctant to change, how will things get better? For example, if as a single parent you have multiple partners or have children by different fathers or even different mothers, how can you then expect your children to behave more responsibly? My guest today feels the same way. She has seen many negative things happen and she has not turned a blind eye. She is passionate and, like me, she wants to help and make changes and to go against some of the norm in order to make positive and influential differences. So stay with us for this episode of the Dolor Factor.
As an entertainer, I have seen many wonderful places around the world, but my favorite is Delia Resort. Delia is my favorite place to be, but the reasons why are difficult to put into words. Delia itself is a mystical place that stimulates unforgettable memories in a setting that awakens your passion for nature and evokes romance. This is a place for rest and relaxation, recreation, and even recreation. I usually go to Delia for a brief escape from the everyday, but I always leave revitalized and inspired. If you ever imagine what it is like in heaven, I believe you will get a glimpse of it at Delia Resort. Delia. There is nowhere else quite like it.
Welcome to Dolor Factor. I am Delia Dolor, and of course we're here at Paradise Ridge at Delia Resort in Soufrière, St. Lucia. I'm so glad that you're here with us because one of the guests today, she is someone I have known for a very, very long time. I've known her in, dare I say, ponytails, and now she's a big woman, married with children. And when we thought about doing this show, I thought of her instantly. There was no buts, no ifs, no doubts. I needed Sharon Williams Black. I always say Sharon Williams because that's what we used to do. That's how I know her, Sharon Williams Black, to the Dolor Factor. Welcome so much. Why has it taken so long for you to be on the show, girl?
You tell me, why haven't you asked me before? Because as soon as you asked me, I came running.
You did.
Yeah?
There was no hesitation or anything like that. So thank you very, very much for coming.
Thanks for having me. And I don't do the black.
You don't? Okay,
No,
I see
I don't do the black.
Why don't you do it?
Because I've been Sharon Williams all my life. I got married late in life. And, you know, it's like, and, you know, being in the media, everybody knows Sharon Williams. It's like, okay, and you know our Lucian people, if I go Sharon Williams Black, whoop, you know, it's like, Saki Black, sir.
Yes, I know what you mean, because like you know, later on in life, you know, surname, you know, you can't change them.
Yeah,
you know, you use them when you need to.
Yes,
And
exactly.
at the same time, you want to keep the family name going. But what do your children think about that?
And that's another thing, because they're both, I have two daughters, and they're both Williams. So at what point you introduce the black and all of that? So I just thought, okay, Sharon Williams, that's my professional name. And for legal whatevers, I'll use the black.
And your husband, how does he feel about
Oh,
that?
he's like, oh, you do what you want, babe.
Oh,
yeah,
wow.
he's
Hey,
really...
you got him. Good for you,
Yeah,
girl.
he really is. accommodating and understanding, because he says, yeah, it makes sense.
Great. All right, so we've known each other, as I said earlier, for many years.
Pigtails and
from
ponytails.
pigtails in school.
Oh, yes, that's a
Did
long
you-
time. Many moons
I
ago,
know,
right?
I know. Don't give out any of my secrets.
Okay,
now.
I won't. But you have to pay me. But anyway, yeah.
But I mean, when you were growing up, I mean, I'm sure you didn't think of what the future was going to be like. Or
Yes,
did you?
yes and no. I was very talented writing. I was very lazy, so I stuck with writing. Plus, when I was in my teenage years, I had this boyfriend, right? And he wanted to go into journalism, and he would read my stuff, and he says, you need to do that, because we were going to have a dynasty, you know, with magazines and all of that. And, you know, when it was just a twinkle in somebody's eye, we had that planned out. So I went with the program. I went according to plan, and I started first with The Voice. Yes, miss. I went with The Voice, and then from The Voice I went to Radio St. Lucia.
Wow.
But it was only writing. I was in the newsroom, a reporter, and one Saturday, I'll never forget that, one Saturday the person who was down to read didn't show up. So Ernie Sion, who was my director,
yes,
he was my editor, news editor, he says, okay, Sharon, you're reading. I mean, he didn't ask. He said, Sharon, you're reading. So I sat in that, well, you worked at Radio St. Lucia, you know that, so my papers were shaking, and I swear
we heard the papers more than we heard The Voice to start off with.
No, not really. But I read a 15-minute newscast on one breath, I swear.
Wow.
It was like, I need to get this over and done with. But they liked it. They said, okay, you have to learn to breathe and all that. And from that time, they roasted me on. And the rest is history. And I'm more into broadcast now than I'm into even writing. Well, I write scripts, and I will write what I have to read most times. But
So what's your job title then?
I am a journalist, a seasoned journalist, because I did Radio St. Lucia, I did The Star, I did Tropical Traveler, I was the editor of Tropical Traveler, sub-editor of The Star, I did Hot FM, I did Radio Caribbean, and I think I worked everywhere, you know. But as the years went by, it's such a hassle and a hustle, because I freelance, and you know freelancing is feast or famine. You know this, and especially in St. Lucia. And as I was telling a friend just before we came on here, it's very hard to get your money, and it's not a service that you can repossess. Once I give my service, you know, if I write or whatever and it goes out, that's it. So I can't
Why
even...
can't you get your money before you do it?
Because that's just not the culture. And very often I have tried like to do like a 50% deposit and whatever. It doesn't work. And then, I don't know, then people come with a long sob story and I want to cry more than them and all of that. So anyway, I said, all right, so I'm going to do PR because I'm very good with people. I love people. I just love them. I like to talk to them. I like to deal with them. I'm always believing in something and promoting something or other. Yeah, you know, because I just like, I buy into people's dreams, and if I see the potential, then I want to do it. So I push them and I say, you have to do this. There's this pastry chef that I'm doing right now, you know, she has tastings. And on Good Friday, the Wednesday before, I said, have you ever made hot cross buns? And she said, no. I said, well, maybe that would be a good idea. And I went on Facebook, which is my choice of weapon these days. And I went on and I got 240 buns she had to make. It was like 22 orders one time.
Wow.
And she had never done that. She called me, she said, Sharon, I should have stopped you at 10 dozen. She sprained her finger from kneading so much. So you kind of have to be ready if you want me to do. You have to be ready for it, because I think too, St. Lucians are wonderful people, and they're very willing to support, I find, and, you know, buy into these things and support and help out, especially young upcoming people. So yeah.
Oh wow.
So I call you, ask me. So I say I'm a journalist and I'm a publicist as well. So
good. Well, now you can understand why, apart from all those bits and pieces, why I would think of you when I think of the show we want to do now.
yes.
Like you, because we've had this discussion, I find that we can do better, we, in terms of the people, whether we're in St. Lucia, whether we're in the Caribbean, or of course, worldwide.
I think so.
yeah, we get ourselves kind of stuck in some kind of rut where we can do better, but we don't do better.
Because we're lazy, because we don't see the need, because we don't see how we can help, and so we turn a blind eye, because we think that our little input will not matter because it's such a little drop in the bucket. But like my grandmother used to say, every drop fills the bucket, right? So if your little drop and mine and everybody we know, hey, it's like when you're owing somebody and you decide, okay, I owe him $500, but I don't have the $500. So you wait and wait to accumulate the money. And whereas if you had given him 50, another 50, you know, it adds up, right?
And not only that, it's communication is key, because sometimes, using your example, I might be the one owing the $500, and in my head I'm thinking, well, I'll do it at the end of the month, or do it
right.
I'll give it to them. But if you don't say that to the other person,
and then they get angry,
they
and
don't. Yes. Your intentions might be genuine and real and true.
It's true.
But the other person is thinking, you can't be serious, because if you were serious,
yes,
then you would have at least told me that was your intention,
yes,
and you would have paid me, and I would have said to you, just give me $50 then.
Yes,
I don't want to wait till the end of the month for you to give me 100 back. Just because, you know, people sometimes want that little increment, don't
yes.
they? Don't they?
And it's the same thing. I always say that we go into hell in a handbasket, right? And I think it's people's indifference, laziness. We too busy, but we do use busy, I think, as an excuse.
That's a good way to end the first segment. Make sure you stay with us when we get into the nitty-gritty of why you should actually make a start to make things happen. See you soon.